Welcome to Experience Easier Now, the podcast. Join us each episode as we do a deep dive with agents to identify how to make life easier for them through technology.
I'm Patti Thomas. I work with Remax Excalibur in Scottsdale. We have 4 different offices, and I've been a realtor for about 10 years now. Once I had been in real estate for probably 2 years, I started getting a lot more referrals from clients that I had worked for those prior 2 years. For the last 8 years, 100% of my business has come from either prior clients or from somebody who knows me and refers them to me. So I don't do any marketing at all. Everything that comes to me is a referral.
How does being a referral-based business work?
Usually how I meet a client is via the phone to begin with. So either they'll call or text depending on how comfortable they are. If they're younger, they're definitely going to text you a lot more than they're going to call you. But I will set up a call with them. I will find out what their needs are as far as real estate. I will make sure that they've dealt with a loan officer, have gotten pre-qualified. Then we'll start doing a search before we actually are out in the car looking at properties. Once we do a search, and I kind of try and narrow down what exactly their tastes are, and often it's different because husband and wife don't usually agree. So we will go out and look at a group of properties, 5, 10 properties, and just watching them when they walk in a property or when we pull up to a property, watching them walk around a house, talking about what they see and what they feel gives me the ability to really narrow down their search so we're not wasting a lot of time. Because if you're walking into a Tuscan home and their style is contemporary, you can tell right off the bat, they're just not going to be interested in this. So I like to get them out because what they tell you over the phone isn't necessarily what they want. So we'd like to get them out, walk them through homes, and then we can really narrow down the search.
What are the tools or technology you use the most in real estate?
The biggest thing I use is the MLS and set up a search on there of properties that are on market, are coming on market, or are pending on market. So I go through, kind of narrow down what they're looking for, definitely location, definitely price, pool or no pool, 3-car garage, 2-car garage, whatever their demands are that they would like, I narrow that down, and then we start looking at the properties. I'd say for myself, when I'm listing a property, it has to have professional photographs because you only get one shot. And if somebody looks at your listing and you don't have photos there, they're not going to remember to come back to your listing. Or if you have a photo that you took off your iPhone of the front of the house and nothing else, they're not going to remember to come back to that listing. So I personally don't put any of my properties on until the photographer's been there. She's done all the photos. She's done a virtual tour. We may do a drone tour of the neighborhood, all depending on the property, the value of the property, and condition of the property too.
Is there anything that you dislike or would change about the MLS?
The time constraint with that system is you have to go in and you have to say, okay, they want to be in this zip code, or they want to be in this zone, or they want single level, no 2 stories. They want 3-car garage, no 2-car garage. They want a pool, they don't want a pool. That's what takes time in the MLS, is checking all those boxes. What square footage do they want? What size yard do they want? So those are the things. Do they want a certain school district? That's the time consuming part.
What are some of the time sensitive areas in your business?
So time is of the essence. People sit and think about listing their home, but once they make a decision to do it, they want everything done yesterday. So I always try to get the listing agreement that day, have the photographer there within a day or 2. It takes about 2 days for photos. So we're looking at 4 to 5 days, and I try and get that down to 2 to 3 days if I can. But that's a really important piece. Getting the sign installed usually can be done in a day, but getting the photos takes a little bit longer. So what happens is you As soon as you leave the meeting of the listing agreement, you call the photographer, and she's probably going to tell you, at least mine, oh, I can't tomorrow, I can't Wednesday. I could do Friday afternoon at 2, but the sun may not be right for this particular house at 2. So it could be delayed another day or two, because sun is important when you're doing professional photography. So it's all around her schedule, and oftentimes I have to call another photographer because I need it done sooner. Once we get the photos, I send them to my clients because they're going to be really picky on how their home shows. Often, once they see their pictures, they actually think it shows better than what it does. And they think, why don't I just buy this house? Because the photos look good. But they do have some where they're picky and they didn't like the angle or something, so you have to pull those out. And sometimes we have to send the photographer back to get a different angle or a couple more pictures. Like they'll think there's not enough of the pool area, there's not enough of the front of the house. So it's a process. I think there definitely could be additional technology that speeds it up. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm not very technical outside of real estate, but I would think that there is. And usually a photographer will give you 20 pictures, and that doesn't give you a lot to choose from, especially on the MLS. I think you can put 50 or 46 or something. So some buyers believe that you just show them the house and they pick the house and you're done, and that's far from what happens. So once they make a selection of a home, the time frame kicks in. We're under a 10-day inspection period, so first thing we have to do is schedule the inspector, and often the inspector's 2-3 days out too. So you schedule the inspection, you have to get with the title company. We have to get the title company to start a search to make sure that the property has a clear title. You have to open escrow, you have to take their earnest money and deposit their earnest money with the title company. So then you're setting up your own files. We're computer generated in my office, so we're paperless. So we have to download the contract that was received. We have to make sure that everything's complete as it should be. We have to get them the seller's disclosure that's the seller's going to give to us, showing what's happened on that home and what they know about that home. We have to contact the insurance company and find out, has there ever been any claims against that home? And that's just the start of it. It's days worth of work during this 10-day period to make sure that the process is coming together, everybody's communicating with each other, and you're checking all the boxes that have to be done. So when you go to close, there's no shocks. There's homeowners associations involved, and that can be a nightmare to deal with because you have to get them all their docs within the 10-day period too. And sometimes there's some surprises in there, like you can't park on the street in a neighborhood, or you can't have a basketball hoop, or different things that go on. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
So what other technology are you using to do what you do?
The only technology I use for voice is my younger clients will have Siri or Alexa. And so if I'm getting ready to have a showing on their home and they're not going to be there, I will go to their home, unlock the door, tell Alexa or Siri to turn on the lights, turn on the music, that type of thing. And then I will lock the door and leave so that that's done. I don't experience that with some of my older clients. It's usually a younger age group that's really into using that technology. What I do have with the older clients is that they're more $1 million homes, so you walk in and hit a button and all the lights come on, or you hit another button and music comes on. So it's two different, depending on price range, depending on age, two different things.
What do you think is preventing people from using new technology?
I think a lot of it is they just don't understand it. They don't understand the process. They don't understand what electrical components have to be changed out to be voice activated. I drive a Tesla. I know a lot about voice activation with that car. You know, it's got a lot of technology that isn't in other cars I've driven in the past. So I think it's just the fear of the unknown for some people. I, again, am not technical. My husband's very technical. He sells software. So he's usually the one bringing the ideas to me. He's the one who's put Siri in our home. He's the one who's changed out the components for that. I use it, but if I had to install it, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I love that you brought up having a Tesla. We also have Teslas at the house. How are you using Tesla's technology in your day-to-day business?
As I said, I'm not technical, but my husband is. And so for several months, my husband kept saying, you need to get a Tesla, you need to get a Tesla. He reads everything about Teslas. And I was like, I don't want a Tesla. I was driving a Mercedes and I was perfectly happy in that car, except I didn't realize how much time I was putting into programming addresses. That was my biggest thing. And he kept saying, it's voice activated, you're gonna love it, it can drive itself. So I didn't agree to get a Tesla. My husband ordered it for me and said, guess what? I just ordered you a Tesla. So I wasn't unhappy with it. I liked the style of the Tesla, and especially the style I have. It seats 5 people, so for real estate, that's nice. I mean, I have a lot of clients that are over 6 foot, so leg room was perfect. And when it came, it looked good. I loved the way it looked, and I like stylish things, so I like that. But once I started realizing how much I could do with it, as my husband kept pointing out things I could do with it, and I started trusting it, that's the biggest thing, is you have to trust it. Because when a car can drive itself, or it can pull up to your front door, you think that's crazy, that's insane. But once I started trusting it, now I just depend that I know I'm gonna go out, I know I'm gonna get my car, I know I'm gonna have a list of 10, 12, 20 homes, and I know that as I start driving to go pick up my clients, I know I can just voice activate the address, it's gonna program it in there for me, and it's gonna be comfortable. People get in my car, and one of the things they love is the computer screen, because they can see where we're going, they can see the different neighborhoods, because it shows home developments. And it's a comfortable place to be. And I'm not busy trying to listen to my iPhone direction or follow a navigation, because the screen's so big, it's easy to follow.
How much time are you saving in your workday using Tesla's technology?
For me as an agent, having a Tesla has been a really good thing. One is I don't have to go to a gas station, so my car is completely charged every morning. I don't have to even think about that. 2 is it's voice activated, so I just talk to my dashboard and say what addresses I want to go to. Before I pick my clients up, if I'm showing 10 homes, I've entered 10 homes through my voice into my car as to what homes we're going to see that day. So when I'm going to one to the other, I just hit navigate and that address pops up. It saves me a lot of time. It also allows me to really communicate with my clients. I'm not worried about where I'm going to or how to get there. I'm not using my iPhone to try and find the address. Everything's in the Tesla and it works well. Because it is voice activated, it can come out of my garage without me being there. It can pull up to my front door without me being there. So it really is advanced, but I don't know that would help with being an agent.
What was life like before Tesla? Like, what did you used to do that you're not doing now?
So in my prior car, I would have to get in the car, sit there, and program in each address manually. Navigation would pop up, I'd put the address of where I'm going, enter it, it would register it, then I'd have to manually do the second one, third one. When you're showing 10 homes, some days I show 20 homes. That's a lot of addresses to sit there and manually program in. Besides, it's hot here in the summer, and if you're sitting in your garage trying to program in addresses, it's not comfortable. So this is much easier.
So you're actually using voice technology to work for you through your car? Tell me more about that.
Well, as an agent, you don't want to get in your car with somebody that you're taking out for the first time, and especially me, because it's going to be a referral, so they're going to go back to somebody and say what their experience was with me. So I want them to be comfortable when they get in my car. I always have drinks, I always have snacks. I want it to be a little bit homey, and I don't want to be concentrating on having to program things in. So when I get in my car and I know everything's already there for me, or I can just use my voice and get what I need, it's a breeze. It's comfortable. I'm not stressed out. And I used to get stressed out because I'd have to watch this navigation, figure out where I was going, and program the next address. it just wasn't a comfortable situation like this is. I know I'm set. I don't have to stress for the day.
Tell us a little bit about the learning curve of voice command.
You know, my first week was amazing. Once you learn to trust it, and I think that's a big thing about technology, you have to learn to trust the technology. So after the first day of realizing that what I spoke into the car was going to be there, and I was able to just follow that, it was very comfortable, and it was comfortable to talk to my clients and not worry about that. The issue with, I think, Teslas, there's still some kinks in it, and sometimes the screen will go out, and so that's had to be replaced a couple of times. I have friends who have Teslas, they haven't had that experience, but that was mine. So when you're an agent and you're responsible for the people in your car, that's a little unnerving if the screen goes out and now you have to figure it out manually. That's very stressful. So if we had something that was voice activated that could send out a notice to neighbors that a home is having an open house, is for sale or coming on market, has just been sold, and it brands the agent, that would be absolutely amazing, because I don't believe that the postcards and the things that come in the mailbox work. Every year it's gotten better, but the last 2 years it's been great because we've really gone paperless. The lockbox systems were all changed out and updated so that your smartphones are able to open them. Software has just really been updated the last couple of years. I hear stories from agents that used to carry around MLS books that were like this big and they'd have to go to somebody's house and you'd go through page by page. I'm glad I didn't get in the business during that time. But today, it's all technical. I mean, I don't have to go to a client's house and have them sign anything. It's all signed online. I don't have to keep running back and forth. What if we counteroffer? What if we have an addendum? What if the HOA has a change? All that is done in seconds. So I send it to them, I text them, tell them it's in their inbox, ask them to sign it as soon as they can. They send it back to me. I have it over to title or to my office within 5 minutes. Most everything I use is technology because MLS is, my car is, my navigation is, our lock boxes are. So the amount of time you spend where you used to have to go and open a home through a lockbox and you had to put in, you had to get a code from an agent, you had to open the lockbox with that code, take the key out, go show it, come back, put the key back in, lock up, change the code, move it so somebody else can't get in. Everything is so much more updated now. On my iPhone, I can program that I'm going to be opening lock boxes that day. I only have to put my security code in once. I point my phone at the lockbox. It opens the lockbox, put the key back in, pop it back in. So that's a big thing. We use a lot of software that sends our contracts. So if my client says, I love this house and I want to write an offer, I could take them to my office, I could use an old computer and sit there and try and get through it. But I have my laptop with me, I have an iPad, I have my phone, and I can just pull up contracts, write them online, send it to their phone, they can just click and sign right then, it comes back to me, I can get it over to Driggs Title, we can get my title agent here sends out a runner, picks up their earnest money check. We have it done in one day, everything can be done.
How valuable would it be for you to have more time and to get these processes done quicker?
I think there's a huge value in getting information immediately. One, I'm competing with other agents to get my offer accepted on a property. So if we're in a multiple offer situation, you have to have your offer in there immediately because 5 other agents may be submitting an offer too. So time is of the essence when you're writing a contract. Technology is our life today. So it's important. One, we're required to have things time stamped and returned within a certain amount of time. We have a certain amount of days to accomplish things. So we have legal contracts that we have to abide by. And if my client is in Europe and I have to have something done by midnight tonight, there's no way I can send him a package and get it back. So technology is our life.
Thank you for joining us on Experience Easier Now. We hope you've learned something new that agents are doing using technology to make their life easier.